Another day, another dumb video for my 13 subscribers, who I do appreciate, by the way. Thanks for subscribing, guys. I really appreciate it. It's really good to have you here. Now, the following events took place in the year 2007 during the summertime, and I was working in a factory. I was 18 years old. I was a wage cook back then, and this factory I worked in, it made ready meals. So you've probably seen them before. They're like, they come in a foil pot. They've got a clear film on the top. You just stab that film, put it in the oven. You've got yourself a ready-made meal. We made ones that were chicken-based primarily, but we also did beef, we did some pork, did some prawns as well. And this story begins with me doing something called line service. Now, usually I worked on the assembly lines, but this day they had me doing line service. That's basically where you walk up and down the assembly line and you replenish the ingredients that need to go into the pots as they whiz past you. And the line I was working on this day, it was for a sort of barbecue chicken skewer thing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but because it was like a summer promotion thing, it had to go perfectly. The managers, they insisted that there be 2 line service guys on this line and not just one, as was usual. So I was doing line service, and there was another guy, this little scrawny little Polish guy, real gawky, geeky looking, big nose, buck teeth, little dweeb called Simon, who was, we were working on the same line. And he was so the kind of person he was he'd always try and boss you around. He had little man syndrome, I think, because he was quite short, he was quite scrawny, and he always tried to boss you around in, his broken English. Going, oh, you go there, you do this, you go there, you do this. It was really annoying, but I was like, whatever. I didn't really care that much, even though it was quite irritating. But we'd been on this line together for probably about 4 hours by this point, and he was starting to really, get my back up. He was really irritating me, because you didn't usually have 2 people on a line. You only ever had 1 line service. And next to the assembly line, we had like this really big tub of this saucy chicken, this barbecue sauce chicken. It was about 3-4 feet deep, something like that. And it was about 6 by 6 in width. It was quite a big tub, just full to the top with these saucy chicken breast strips that were going into the trays that the people on the line would then stick on these skewers, put them into the pots. And Simon was doing this really annoying thing, right? So I had a metal tray, and everybody on the line each had a metal tray just full of this chicken. So I'd take the metal tray, I'd put it in there, and literally just with a big plastic scoop, I would scoop a load of chicken into this metal tray and then give it to the people on the line. And he was doing this really irritating thing, right? It's like wherever I would go, like this was a big tub. It was like 6 feet by 6 feet or something like that. Wherever side I would go to, he would come and stand right next to me. And it was like he was trying to get the chicken that I was sort of going for. There was loads in there. It was like a massive thing. But I don't know why he was doing it. It was really weird and really annoying. And, after a few hours of this, I finally got fed up. And I said to him, what are you doing? Why don't you go to the other side of the tub and get the chicken from over there? And he did that irritating thing that they do where they kind of feign not understanding you, that, the whole, oh, me no speak English routine, when they obviously do. They do understand you, but they conveniently forget how to speak English when it suits them. And so my temper was starting to rise a little bit. So I just got a little bit closer to him in a kind of threatening sort of stance, I guess. I was 18. I was a bit more hot-blooded than I am now. But I just sort of went up to him a bit closer, and I pointed to the other side of the tub, and I said, go over there. Go to the other side and get your chicken from there, and stop getting in my way. And for somebody who doesn't speak a lot of English, he certainly seemed to understand that. And he got really irate, and he started to say, oh, dude, why you do this? Why you do? What is problem? What is problem? I was like, I just couldn't understand why he was doing this. It was weird. It was really annoying. So I said, go to the other side, get your chicken from that side. And then he kind of started arguing more. I couldn't really understand what he was saying, to be honest. Like I said, it was all broken English. And this little back and forth, it kind of went on for a few moments. So because I was getting quite irritated with him, I had this metal tray in my hands. And so what I did was, it's kind of hard to explain, but I kind of threw it / dropped it into the chicken next to him quite hard. And with that, there was this big splash of barbecue sauce, and it went all over. It went all over him. A bit of it got on me, but most of it went on him, and I found it quite funny. I did do it on purpose. I was aiming to sort of do that. And for a brief second, he stared at me, and he started going bright red in the face. And I thought he was going to swing for me, actually. I was readying myself to deflect a punch. But I guess fortunately for everyone involved, the punch never came. What he did instead was he just kind of slung his metal tray into the chicken tub, the big tub thing, and he stormed off in a rage. It was pretty funny, actually. I wasn't sure where he was going. I didn't know if he was going to report me to the management or what. But so he disappeared for a little bit, and I just carried on with the job. And the people on the line, they saw this happen as well, and they were sort of trying to stifle laughter. I don't know. These were all foreign people as well, but I don't know if they just didn't like him or what. But they found it humorous anyway. And eventually, I looked over to the wash basin things. They were on the other side of the big room, the big factory floor, and he was just washing himself up. And I kind of felt a little bit guilty. I felt like I'd lost control and been a little bit childish of what I did. Even at the age of 18, I was always compelled to kind of be the bigger man and just apologise for stuff. So I thought, yeah, you know what, there's no point carrying this on. I'm just going to go over. So I went over to him while he was washing all this barbecue sauce off of his face and out of his mouth. And I just went up to him and I said, sorry about that. And he looked like he was going to start crying. It was crazy. I felt pretty bad, actually. I thought, I don't want to make him cry. I just wanted him to get off my back and stop pissing me off and stop getting under my feet when I was trying to work. And he just sort of looked at me and just went, I don't care. And he just walked off again. So, that was kind of a weird little interaction, a weird little thing that happened. I'm not sure. He didn't come back to the assembly line that I was on. Somebody else came over and took over for him. So I don't know if he told somebody and they said, all right, we'll put you somewhere else. So that's pretty much all that happened there. And for a couple of weeks afterwards, things were a little bit tense between us. I had apologised, and he didn't seem to carry on a feud or anything like that. So as far as I knew, he'd kind of forgiven me. But then a couple of weeks later, he actually got sacked because he'd been stealing beef and hiding it in his locker. So so that was the end of that. Why did I tell you that story? I don't know. Just to illustrate the pointlessness of life, I guess, because that was kind of a pointless, stupid story, but it was just something I thought about and decided to record in a video. But I guess if you did want to take a moral away from this story, it's don't get into a physical altercation with somebody at work if they're giving you shit. Just find a way to humiliate them instead, preferably in front of other people if you can. So I embarrassed this guy, and he disappeared, and I was able to spend the rest of the day working in relative peace. So don't if somebody's getting on your nerves at work, don't swing for them or anything. Don't make it violent. Just find a way to embarrass them. That's what you need to do. So it worked for me, and that is the saucy chicken story. Completely pointless, completely inconsequential. And I'm sorry I wasted 9.5 minutes of your time with it, but I just wanted to tell this story. Anyway, if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Be nice to get some more subscribers and get some more likes on the videos and all that stuff, all that YouTube jazz. Thanks for listening / watching. I'll catch you in the next one.